Hello friends, welcome to TechnoGeek SFDC. So in this video, we are going to talk about a very important concept in Salesforce, that is login flows. Okay, so what login flows are basically? So login flows is a feature in Salesforce that allows basically organizations to customize their login process. So like in Salesforce, usually how we log in is by username and password. We provide the username, give the password and click on login, right? But let's say if you get some scenario where you want to provide an additional layer of security, let's say by adding a security question, or let's say by doing some validation, or let's say some uh, a messaging channel, or like some security code or something like that. So those types of additional security can be implemented in Salesforce via login flows. Okay, so basically how login flows works. Okay, so when you set up a login flow in Salesforce, initially you will get the same your username and password screen where you enter the username, you give the password, and then as soon as you click on login, okay, it will then launch a login flow. So let's say in our case, we want to set up a security question. Okay, so when the login flow will launch, it will ask for a security question, and user will enter the answer for that. Okay, and if the answer is correct, like answer is matching with the answers present in the database, then user will be able to successfully log in, or user will be getting an error message to correct the answer. Okay, so this is how your login flows work basically in Salesforce. So in our scenario, what we are going to do, we are going to add additional layer of security. So basically what we will have a security quotient, as well as we will be having a security answer. So whenever a user is trying to log in, he or she needs to give the answer for that security question. Okay, then only they will be able to successfully log in. Okay, so this is our scenario currently. Okay, now let's first see how we need to set up the login flow. So first, to set up a login flow, we need to create a flow. Okay, and that flow will be of type screen flow. Okay, so to save the time, I have already created a flow. Okay, so on user object, I have created two fields. One is storing the security question, and one is storing the security answer. Okay, so for each user, what is the question user has selected during the first login, and what is the answer user has provided during the first login. Okay, so I can show you, I have two fields here, like security. I'll just check for security. Yeah. So I have security question and I have security answer. Okay. Now I have created a flow. It's a screen flow basically I have created. Okay. So I'll walk you through the screen flow. So in this screen flow, what we are doing is we are first checking whether the user has done the setup for the security question or not. Okay, if user has not done the security question setup, then user will get another screen where he or she needs to select a question, write an answer, and then they will be able to log in, so that next time whenever user will be logging in again, that security question will pop up. Okay, so for this, if you see, I have created a screen flow here in this. So first thing to consider whenever you want to use a login flow, okay, so there are certain variables which you can use, which are basically out of the box provided by Salesforce in flows, which you can use in terms of login flows. So I'll show you one of the variable here. Okay, so we have a variable, something called login flow user ID. Okay, which is of type text, and we mark it as available for input. So one thing to consider, the name has to be like this, that is login flow underscore user ID. So what this variable will do, as soon as your login flow will fire, this particular variable will capture the user ID who is trying to log in. Okay, so this variable will basically capture that particular user ID. Okay, so now once we have this user ID, what we'll be doing, we'll be just fetching the user, and by using the get record method. So since we have the user ID, we can just use the ID equals user ID, and we can get all the fields. Okay, then we can check if the security answer is set up or not. So basically what I'm doing is I'm checking if the user has put the security answer or not, or he has provided any security answer or not. Okay, so if the security answer is not provided, okay, then the user will be going to a this flow, like my left side, this flow, it will user will flow in where it I have another screen basically where I have one question and I have one answer. Okay, and then what I am doing is whatever the screen user is select or whatever the question and answer user is selecting, that I am updating on the user record. Okay, next is next time whenever user is again logging in, so now since the security question has been set up and everything is done, then in that case it will go into the flow which is there in my left hand side. Okay, I need to just change this, 1 second. Question not available, or I'll just give it as answer not available, answer not set up. I'm just giving a meaningful path name. Okay, so answer not set up. So if the answer is not set up, user will be navigated to a screen where they need to set up the question and answer. Okay, if answer is already set up. So basically next time whenever user will log in, then a security check screen will come up where you will be having the security question which you selected during the first login, and it will ask for the answer. Okay, and then it will do an answer check. That is, if the answer provided by the user is matching with the answer stored on the user record. Okay, if everything is fine, then we just need to leave it blank and the flow will continue and user will be able to log in. But if let's say there is some issue, or let's say if the answer is not matching, then you can show some text something like this here. Okay, I'll just make it red to look at more what do you say, to look at more kind of incorrect thing. Okay, so I'll just make it as red. Okay, so I'm just giving a text here that this answer provided by you is not matching our database, please correct your answer. Okay, so this is the screen which user will see if the answer is not matching. Okay, so I'll just do it save as, and I'll just activate. Okay, so till here what we have seen is, till here we have seen that okay, we have one screen flow which we have already created, but just by creating a screen flow it will not come in the login flows, right? So you have created a screen flow. Now you have to set it up in the login flows. So how you will do that? You can go to quick find, you can search for login flows. Okay, and then you will get a page where you need to set up your flow. Okay, so you will be having something like this, active login flow. Okay, so you can just click on new, and you can select login flow will be using what type of Salesforce feature, whether it will be using flow or whether it will use a visual force page. So in our case it will be a flow. So as soon as you select a flow, it will ask for a name, and then it will ask for the flow which you want to use for this particular login flow. Okay, so which flow you want to use here. Okay, so whatever the flow you have created, you can select from the drop down. Let's say in our case it's demo login. Next is for which type of user license. So basically this login flow, whatever the login flow you are creating, you can set it up for different profiles. Like for one profile you can have one login flow, for another profiles you can have a different login flow. Okay, so let's say if I select the Salesforce user license, then I'll get all the options, all the profiles available under Salesforce. So I can select any profile. So let's say if I'm selecting this profile, allo profile 3. Okay, let's say if I'm selecting this, then all the users who are having this profile, only they will go through the login flow which we have created, like whatever the screen flow we have created, right, to check the security question and answer, only those profile users has to go through this. Okay, rest other users, it will behave normally, like you just give the username password and it will log in. Okay, so I have already created one, I can show you that. So This is the demo flow login. So if you can see, I have selected the type as flow, name I have given. Flow is this what we had created, what I was just showing you. This is demo login flow, and I have selected a profile that is Alok profile 3. Okay. Now in my org, I have one user who is having this particular profile. Okay. So I have one user called demo user who is having Alok profile 3. Okay. So if I try to log in with this particular user, okay, then I should be asked to answer the security question. So I'll just do one thing. I'll just clear up the security question and answer so that you will be getting a complete picture from the start till end. Okay. And I just hit save. Now let me open an incognito mode. Okay. And I'll give this. This is the username. So I'm just giving a password. Okay. Now if I click on login, okay, so it is asking for a verification code. I'll just give it. So I've just given the verification code. Now let's see how our other thing works. So see, after giving that, now what? Now instead of logging in directly into the Salesforce, what it is asking? It is asking me to set up a security question. Okay, why? Because I don't have any security question and answer currently set up on my use for this particular user. I don't have any security question or answer set up, right? So that's why it is asking. Now I have just given a static values. You can create your own question list of questions and answers accordingly. Okay. So let's say I'm giving in which city my first job. I'm just giving Bangalore. Okay. And if I click on next. So now what happened? It allowed me to log in. So that now demo user has logged in successfully. Okay. Now I'll just log out and I'll just try to re-log in. Okay. So let me see. Now if I try to re-log in, let's see how it's going to behave. Okay, so now since I have already done a setup for that particular question, so now it will ask me the same question next time. What is your first job city? Okay, and let's say if I'm giving some random answer, okay, which is not matching to the actual answer which I have given, and if I click on next, see, so it is asking the answer, telling the answer provided by you is not matching our database. Please correct your answer. So I can just come back here. I can correct it, and now if I click on next, it will allow me to log in. Okay, so this is the beauty of login flow, where we have created an additional layer of security for this security question and answer. Similarly, you can use other stuffs as well, like you can use multi-factor authentication, you can use a one-time password, or you can use a one-time text or something like that. Any kind of additional layer of security you can implement over the normal login flows via uh, this login flow feature of the Salesforce. Okay, and this login flow even you can apply for the Experience Cloud as well, like for the community user. If you want some additional steps to be taken before logging in, there also you can set up the login flow. So login flows can be used even for internal users like normal Salesforce users, as well as with the experience user, that is our community user. Okay, so I hope you got an idea of how you can use the login flows and what are its feature, how I showed you the demo, how it's going to behave in a real time. Since it is a screen flow, if you want, you can even include LWC, you can include Apex, you can include other stuffs like to make your login pages more fancy. So with this, we will wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. You got a fair idea of login flow. If you have any question, you can comment in the comment section, and please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We will come up with more such interesting features of the Salesforce along with some demo. So with this, we will wrap up today's video. Thanks for your time. Bye bye.